Dear viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel, The World Today. The topic which I will cover has a fundamental question. Can Turkey be an Islamic superpower? To what extent Turkey has a capability to play a leadership role in the Islamic world? Why Turkey is asserting its position these days? And what are the ambitions of Turkey in the years to come? Certainly, Turkey is world's 17th largest economy. Turkey in the last 20 years has done remarkably well as far as democracy is concerned, regardless of the issues. Economy is concerned, industrialization, political stability. But then we have to take into account at least four major realities when we talk about the ambitions of Turkey to emerge as an Islamic superpower. The first is that historically, Turkey is a successor of the Ottoman Empire, and the Ottoman Empire ruled large chunk of North Africa, Arabia, Balkans in Europe for centuries. And then, in view of its decline and erosion during 19th century, it was called as a sick man of Europe. First World War led to the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. And in 1933, from the ashes of Ottoman Empire, the Republic of Turkey was born. So therefore, Turkey has a historical role in the region. So in the historical context, it makes sense if Turkey tries to argue that it can play a leadership role in the region and in the Muslim world. But then we have to understand that why Turkey has moved from west to east or is moving from west to east. The reason is basically its disillusionment from Europe. It tried its level best to join at that time the European Economic Community and now European Union. It failed. So after being frustrated and feeling discriminated, Europe, the leadership of Turkey under President Tayyip Erdogan realized that it should look for an alternate, because certainly Europe was not giving any space to Turkey. And the alternate was to project Turkey as a leader of the Muslim world and to emerge as an Islamic superpower. Islamic superpower basically means that how during the Ottoman Empire days, that empire was the custodian of the Muslims of North Africa, Arabia, Central Asia, the Balkans. So to what extent Turkey can succeed? In view of the fact that the leadership of Tayyip Erdogan has managed to a large extent uniting the people of Turkey. to play that role. And therefore, when we talk about the ambitions of Turkey, and Turkey is a member of NATO also, we have to understand that although it is pulling itself out from the West, getting more closer towards Africa and Asia, the Middle East, we need to understand and we need to bear in mind that in view of crisis in the Muslim world, the failure of OIC, and the fragility of the Saudi leadership role, basically prompted Turkey to provide an alternate platform to the Muslim world. Therefore, it mooted the idea to hold a conference, a meeting, a brainstorming session in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, including Turkey, Iran, Qatar, Pakistan and Malaysia, 5 countries. But Pakistan opted out of that because of the Saudi pressure. So 4 countries participated in that conference, and then they basically discussed in detail how to deal with the thorny issues, contentious issues, critical issues faced by the Muslim countries, all the way from Syria to Palestine, to Iraq and Afghanistan and so forth. So there is a growing Turkish interest as far as the Muslim world is concerned. That brings us to the point, the third point, that what will be the scenario after 2023? Because in July 1923, Treaty of Lausanne was signed. And that treaty is very important. 100 years timeline of that treaty. That treaty disbanded the Ottoman Empire, declared Turkey as a secular country, deprived Turkey of oil exploration in the region, and denied Turkey the collection of taxes from the Bay of Bosphorus to Marmara Sea, linking the Mediterranean Sea. It is from the Black Sea to the Mediterranean Sea, the collection of taxes. Now, the regime of Tayyip Erdogan argues that 100 years after the Lausanne Treaty, Turkey will not be bound to comply with the terms and conditions of that treaty, which were very unjust. And that treaty was imposed on Turkey because the Ottoman Empire had lost the war, the First World War. That treaty, the Treaty of Lausanne, also deprived Turkey of its overseas possessions, North Africa, Arabia, Middle East. So therefore, it is, there's a lot of discussion going on that what we see Turkey, or the resurgence of Turkey and its drive from the west to the east, now it is focusing on the east, particularly the Muslim countries. It has more to do with the fact that 100 years after the Treaty of Lausanne, Turkey will be in a position to reclaim its rights. That Turkey will be able to explore, carry out all exploration projects, start all exploration projects. That Turkey will start collecting taxes from ships passing from the Bay of Bosphorus to the Mediterranean Sea. These are very important things to understand. And therefore, the 61-page document, which was prepared by the Strategic Studies Institute, ASSAM, in Istanbul, calling for a confederation of 61 Muslim countries under the leadership of Turkey. It's capital in Istanbul. And that basically means that if Turkey reclaims its overseas possessions, it may not be possible for 100 years to reclaim Palestine, to reclaim Jordan, to reclaim Egypt, to reclaim North African, to reclaim the Balkans, areas which is lost. The First World War, Syria. But certainly Turkey, under the leadership of President Erdogan, clearly stipulates that Muslim world facing enormous crisis cannot just rely on the OIC because it has failed. Saudi Arabia has failed to play a leadership role. But then it is not easy for Turkey to transform its vision to emerge as an Islamic superpower into a reality. And there are two fundamental reasons why. The first is that if Turkey tries to make a point that it can reclaim its rights, which were forbidden under the Treaty of Lausanne, it will be in direct confrontation as far as world powers are concerned. Russia will not support, Britain will not support, France will not support, United States will not support. So there is a likelihood that the major powers of the world will gang up against Turkey, and they will try to destabilize Turkey. The second thing is that the Muslim world itself, the Muslim world per se, is a conglomeration of heterogeneous countries, states. And these cannot be united. Just the efforts of Turkey, no matter how strong Turkey becomes. The moment it tries to meddle in the issues of various Muslim countries, it will be bogged down. It will not be able to make it. So therefore, realistically speaking, Turkey must confine its role as far as the region is concerned. If it overstretches itself beyond its borders, it will be counterproductive. But certainly there is the concept of Turkey as an Islamic superpower. It may be a myth, but it can only be a reality if the Islamic countries possess enormous resources, material resources, human resources. And by the way, General Adnan, who is the right hand of Turkish President Erdogan and who is the head of the Strategic Studies Institute in Istanbul, has pointed out that the Muslim world is the third largest military spender after the United States, after China, the Muslim countries. But then there are 61 Muslim countries. And most of these Muslim countries are in conflict with each other. So first of all, there has to be a process of stability in the Muslim world, focusing on education, science and technology, resolving their issues, and once they are capable enough, then certainly they will look for Turkey, the leadership role of Turkey. which can help more than 1 billion Muslims in playing a viable role as far as global affairs is concerned. Thank you very much.